September 11, 2001, dawned like any other Tuesday. Americans went to work, children went to school, the sun shone brightly. But the world was about to change. At 8:46 a.m. Eastern Time, a plane crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. The impact, a horrific thunderclap, tore a gaping hole in the iconic skyscraper. Smoke and debris billowed out, raining down on the streets below. The nation watched in horror and disbelief as news reports scrambled to make sense of the unfolding tragedy. Was it a terrible accident? Initial reports suggested a small plane, but the damage was catastrophic. Then, just 17 minutes later, a second plane, United Airlines Flight 175, slammed into the South Tower. This time there was no doubt. America was under attack. The images of the burning towers etched against the clear blue sky became seared into the nation's consciousness. Inside the towers, a nightmare was unfolding. Thousands of people were trapped, the air thick with smoke and the deafening roar of the inferno. First responders, firefighters, and police officers raced to the scene, their courage and selflessness already evident in those first chaotic moments. As the world watched, a third plane, American Airlines Flight 77, crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, at 9:37 a.m. The symbol of American military might was ablaze, a direct assault on the heart of the nation's defense. With each horrifying blow, the realization sank deeper. This was not a random act of violence, this was a coordinated attack, meticulously planned and ruthlessly executed. The attack on the Pentagon claimed the lives of 184 people, a devastating loss of military personnel and civilians alike. Yet, amidst the carnage, stories of heroism emerged. First responders, many injured themselves, worked tirelessly to evacuate survivors and battle the raging fire. Their bravery in the face of unimaginable danger exemplified the spirit of resilience that would come to define the nation's response to the attacks. Meanwhile, high above Pennsylvania, the passengers and crew of United Airlines Flight 93, the fourth and final plane hijacked that morning, were waging their own battle. Having learned of the attacks in New York and Washington, they understood the fate that awaited them. They were not going down without a fight. In an extraordinary act of courage, they stormed the cockpit, their heroic actions preventing the plane from reaching its intended target, believed to be the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. At 10:03 a.m., Flight 93 crashed in a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, a testament to the indomitable human spirit, even in the face of unspeakable evil. At 9:59 a.m., less than an hour after being struck, the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed. The ground shook, as if in the grip of an earthquake, sending a massive cloud of dust and debris billowing through the streets of Lower Manhattan. The collapse, captured on live television, sent shockwaves around the world. The unimaginable had happened. One of the world's tallest buildings had crumbled before our eyes. At 10:28 a.m., the North Tower met the same fate. The dust cloud, a grim shroud of destruction, enveloped Lower Manhattan, a haunting symbol of the lives lost and the world forever changed. In total, nearly 3,000 people perished in the attacks, 2,753 in New York City, 184 at the Pentagon, and 40 in Pennsylvania. Among the victims were citizens from over 90 countries, a stark reminder of the global reach of terrorism. As the dust settled, the world grappled with the enormity of the tragedy. Expressions of shock, grief, and solidarity poured in from every corner of the globe. Leaders from nations large and small condemned the attacks, offering condolences and pledging support to the United States. The attacks were not just an assault on America, but an attack on humanity itself. In the United States, a profound sense of unity emerged from the ashes of destruction. Americans from all walks of life came together to comfort one another, to mourn the loss of loved ones, and to begin the long and arduous process of healing. The attacks had shaken the nation to its core, but they had also revealed its strength, resilience, and unwavering spirit. In the aftermath of the attacks, the world sought answers. Who was responsible for this act of barbarity? The investigation quickly focused on Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, a radical Islamic terrorist group. Bin Laden, who had declared war on the United States, had orchestrated a campaign of terror against American interests for years, culminating in the horrific events of 9/11. From his hideout in the mountains of Afghanistan, Bin Laden issued a chilling message, claiming responsibility for the attacks and praising the hijackers as martyrs. His words sent shockwaves through the international community, confirming the world's worst fears. The threat of terrorism was real, it was global, and it would not be easily defeated. The 9/11 attacks had profound and lasting consequences for the United States and the world. The attacks ushered in an era of heightened security measures, both domestically and internationally. Air travel, once a symbol of freedom and interconnectedness, became subject to increased scrutiny and stringent security protocols. The attacks also led to the passage of the Patriot Act, a controversial law that expanded the government's surveillance powers in the name of national security. In the aftermath of the attacks, the United States launched the War on Terror, a global campaign aimed at dismantling Al-Qaeda and other terrorist organizations. The war, which began with the invasion of Afghanistan in 2001, would span 2 decades, claiming countless lives and reshaping the geopolitical landscape. On May 2, 2011, Osama bin Laden was killed in a U.S. Navy SEAL raid on his compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. His death, a significant victory in the fight against terrorism, brought a measure of justice to the victims of 9/11s and their families. The legacy of 9/11s is complex and multifaceted. The attacks forever changed the way we view the world, highlighting the ever-present threat of terrorism and the importance of global cooperation in combating it. The attacks also revealed the best of humanity, as countless individuals displayed extraordinary courage, compassion, and resilience in the face of unimaginable tragedy. As we remember the victims of 9/11s, let us honor their memory by striving for a more peaceful and just world, a world where such acts of hatred and violence are never repeated.